let's go on to the next. We're gonna stick with Hollywood related stuff. We're gonna check out a this is a best posts and comments. We're gonna do what fake thing that happens in movies pisses you off. Okay? And G10, like I said, Tubi's got like season 1. Season 1 is the one black and white one. They went color after season 1, I think. So, this should be interesting. What fake thing happens in movies that pisses you off? I mean, you know me, I love that movie stuff. So, let's see if I'm going to go on a tangent. Okay, I'm jumping it. It's like a 25-minute video. I'm jumping into it early. Let's see how fucking long this is gonna take me. Fair warning, chat. We may be here on this one for 2 hours. You have been warned. Let's fucking go.
What fake thing that happens in movies pisses you off? Digging graves in wooded areas. There are effing roots everywhere. You can't dig a 6-foot grave with a pair of shovels in an hour. That takes time.
Not wrong. Not wrong about that. As far as there being roots everywhere, depends on the forest. Depends on the wooded area. If you have wooded areas that have very spread out trees, you may not necessarily be hitting the roots. Rocks are concerned depending upon the area. So when they're talking about, they're probably referring to like those densely wooded areas. And yes, densely wooded areas, yeah, you're hitting fucking roots. And the 6-foot grave, actually, theoretically, you could do it. Theoretically, you could dig a 6-foot grave in like an hour, like 2 people. You could dig a hole that would be the equivalent of a 6-foot grave in an hour. If you have 2 guys that, you know, work well together and are, you know, tough. Yeah, you'd be worn out to shit, but yes, it could be done. It could be. Well, okay, you want 6 feet to make sure the animals don't get to it, V-Dog. Don't ask me how I know.
Are people shooting at you? Take cover behind anything. Car doors,
Uh-huh.
drywall, couches, tables, cardboard boxes. It doesn't matter. Everything is bulletproof.
Yeah. For all of us gun enthusiasts, we see this shit and we just go, what the fuck are you doing? You're dead. These do not protect you. For God's sake, refrigerators are not going to protect you. But not even a Ma Deuce, Alex. Fucking 9mm can go through all this shit. Okay? Yeah, it's... everything listed here, a round will go through. Shut up, Warfinder! Shut up! Yeah, we've seen the 22 go through a refrigerator. Yeah, and apparently they... And who knew that refrigerators back in the 1960s were lead-lined? Yeah, this is like, for firearm enthusiasts, yeah, this pisses people off. That... Or, like, windshields. Like, car windshields. You shoot a car windshield, and it doesn't... And a car windshield will protect you from... particularly automatic gunfire from, like, M16s or machine guns. That's another one where it's like, all it does is just, it's not bulletproof glass, mind you, regular fucking glass, and you just see, like, spiderweb hits. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, and drywall, oh my god.
Hacking anything in seconds. I'm accessing the mainframe to open the security doors for you.
Oh, this one.
Clickety-clack, click, click, clickety-click rapidly. I'm in. Other guy, you really are the best hacker. Huh? Oh, I didn't hack it. I just typed admin in both the login and password fields. Missed places never change that they
Wait.
never seem to make mistakes typing either. You never hear the telltale sound of the backspace key.
Oh. Hacking in movies. All of this. Just all of this.
One exception to the windshield thing. Peggy Carter in the first Captain America shot a guy through a car windshield.
That one they did it right. Most others they don't. Oh, one of the worst examples, and thank you, Wrath. Yeah, the enhance and fucking NCIS with Abby and McGee. Do you guys remember? We talked about this scene before in another React video where Abby in NCIS. Yes, that's what I'm referring to, Revan. Abby's system in an episode of NCIS, she's getting hacked, and then McGee jumps in, and the two of them on the same fucking keyboard are typing away. It's like, what in the fuck are you guys doing? You both can't be typing on the same goddamn keyboard and be doing fucking anything other than doing absolute bullshits. And yeah, it's like, I just typed admin in the login for password fields. Most places never change that shit. Bullshit. Password security for the last minimum 20 fucking years has been change your password every, 30 days. It's like, none of this shit works. And all these guys, clicking and calculating, they just sit there typing a whole bunch of shit. Computer use in general in Hollywood is bullshit. There is one singular TV series that I've heard about that actually does hacking legitimately correctly, for the most part. And that is the show Mr. Robot. I have not seen it, but I've heard the show Mr. Robot actually did hacking correctly. In that it wasn't just sitting at a computer going typity, 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 type. They actually affected basically this social engineering that made the hacking possible. That's the one modern show that I heard has some actual legit hacking in it. The one show. So, they even had something about Katie Ebert. Really? Katie is Plasma. Okay, cool. The dude spent days waiting for someone to leave their account vulnerable. And you know what? The Hackers movie actually did have Dennis from Jurassic Park. They didn't go into it all that much. So, he just basically ran a virus that he pre-made, and then they did some kind of bullshit command line codes, and that was it. The girls from Jurassic Park basically just did Windows. She just basically just worked, she said, oh, it's a Unix system, which is Windows. So she basically just clicked her Windows and that's it. They did do, in the Hackers movie though, they did legit do some actual legitimate hacker stuff. A lot of it was bullshit. Yes, a lot of what was in the Hackers movie was movie magic. Don't kill me, I'm not disputing that. But they did have a couple of scenes that had some legitimate hacking stuff in it. Like when, what's his name? Fuck. Oh god, the guy who played Tintin from The Crow was, it was his character. Lord something. He had the photographic memory. I can't remember his character's name. But the actor who played him, Nikon. Yeah, Lord Nikon. Yes, thank you, Pig. Yeah, so Lord Nikon, he had photographic memory, and so he actually did homework. Thank you, Josh. So yeah, Lord Nikon did homework. He walked around pretending to be a flower delivery person, walked around through the company that they were intending to hack, and was watching keystrokes. And was memorizing passwords because they had photographic memory, so he was memorizing passwords by watching people typing it in. And then you had Crash Override. What's his name? Fuck, what's the actor's? Anyway, Dade. You had Dade, and you had Crash Override, and you had Acid Burn. So you Crash Override, Acid Burn, dumpster diving for passwords, like printed out passwords, because back when hackers came out, they would literally just toss sensitive information like that into the dumpster. They didn't shred them. So hackers did actually do some legitimate social engineering type of work for their hacking. The rest of it was just magical sci-fi bullshit, but they did have some legitimate elements of hacking in that movie, which was pretty cool. And what was he said for the scene Matrix Reload where Neo had to get through the door before the power came back on? I don't remember that part, Dragon. Well, okay, the Matrix was all gobbledygook. Anyway, yes, people still did break down the passwords. So that's what I wanted to say about the hackers thing. And yeah, Mo, thank you for another 5 gifted. Okay, so that's my take on hacking in Hollywood. The vast majority of computer use in Hollywood, not even just hacking, computer use. Yes, Neo was a hacker, Grindhouse. That's how it all got started for him, is he was a computer hacker. That's how it all began in the first Matrix. Computer use in Hollywood is a fucking joke. Not even just hackers, just NCIS is another example. When all of the NCIS agents are like looking for someone and they're doing their investigations, they'll sit down and just all of a sudden you hear just clickety clacking like fucking crazy. With them just like looking up someone. So computer usage in Hollywood in general is just a fucking joke.
Mafia guys, mobsters or hitmen. People who are in the business of killing people and disappearing inconveniences are intentionally clumsy or stupid when it comes to kill the protagonist. No double tap, overcomplicated killing, taking their sweet time, not putting more than 1 or 2 henchmen for a particularly dangerous hostage.
Hostage? Particularly dangerous hostage? Okay, I think this might have been a mistype here, but yeah, I mean, I don't know all that much about. Well, here's the I don't know all that much about hitmen, but no, Gibbs used more than one finger, Jayton. Gibbs used the computer just like the other guys, just like the rest of them did. He didn't hunt and peck. He actually used the computer just like the rest of them. Yeah, I mean okay, they're talking about like mafia guys, mobsters, or hitmen. It's like you're a fucking agent. It's like all of them went to the Agent 47 school of assassination, where they have to do these complex shit to make sure somebody dies. Yeah. Oh, Dragon? Have you ever seen, oh fuck, I forget the name of the movie, but the killer was Leslie Vernon. Behind the Mask, The Legend of Leslie Vernon. There is a deleted scene from that movie that explains how that happens.
Professor Radigan from The Great Mouse Detective comes to mind here.
I don't think you ever saw that. But yeah, in The Rise of Leslie Vernon, they actually have a deleted scene from that explains how these killers that are walking slow catch up. He's just like at kind of like a kind of fast walk behind this reporter who's interviewing him about doing serial killing, and he says, "Go ahead and run. I will probably and I'll probably catch up to you." And he just walks after her. The minute her back is to him, when she's running away, he breaks out into a sprint. The minute she turns to look back at him, he resumes walking again. and she screams and turns around, keeps running. As soon as her back is to him, he busts out into a sprint after her again. When she turns, he's still walking. And that's how he explains how these serial killers that just walk after their victims can somehow catch up to them or even get ahead of them. That's how it was explained. It's not parody. It's sort of like a different, well, J10, he explained that too, is that being a serial killer takes a lot of cardio. Like a shit ton of cardio training. Like, okay, if you haven't seen it, watch the movie Behind the Mask, The Legend of Leslie Vernon. It's a really great movie that sort of is like a different take on the serial, on like the Hollywood slasher. Okay, watch it. It's a great movie. As far as the mafia guys, but we went way off track because this is mafia guys, mobsters. Yeah, it's like mafia, mobsters, and hitmen. They're not clumsy. They know what the fuck they're doing. They're not clumsy or stupid when they're trying to go after the protagonist. They always do the double tap. They don't comp. They do things simplified. Yeah, they taking their time, etc., etc. Yeah, none of this happens.
Where a witness confesses on the stand.
Oh,
There's
God.
certain surprise prosecution evidence. Witnesses monologuing on the stand.
Yup.
Minimal hearsay objections. So much forensic evidence. Drives me batty.
Yes. All of this, yes. Fucking hell, yes. Witnesses do not confess on the stand. This don't fucking happen. Okay? Surprise evidence. If the prosecution tried to suddenly spring surprise evidence, the defense would be all over that shit calling for mistrials, demanding discovery. You know, and if this was evidence that was obfuscated from any discovery, the judge would immediately be throwing out the fucking case. Yeah, this never happens. This witnesses monologuing. Nope, that shit would get shut down by either side in a fucking heartbeat. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? But if the prosecution suddenly popped up evidence that they did not disclose during discovery, instant mistrial. Witnesses monologuing, that gets shut down like everywhere. Minimal hearsay objections. No. The hearsay gets objected to all the fucking time. A shit ton of forensic evidence. This is also true. The majority of cases that go to trial don't have a lot of forensic evidence. The majority of the evidence comes from interviews. The vast majority of criminal cases that go to trial in the U.S., the evidence is not even fully processed by the state labs by the time it goes to trial. The physical evidence is kind of just a backup. When criminal cases go to trial, it's typically based upon interviews and detective observations, interviewing witnesses, interviewing suspects, suspect confessions. You know, the forensic evidence is actually minimal when it comes to criminal cases. Now, the difference being maybe some homicides, you know, in some homicides, you can get evidence like fingerprint evidence and DNA evidence fast-tracked if it's like a particularly heinous crime or a particularly volatile one. The majority of even regular homicide, forensic evidence is usually months or even years to get processed. It like DNA evidence, but you're not going to see DNA evidence in a lot of cases. It's like I said, only the really high-profile ones can they fast-track things like DNA. And fingerprint evidence, the average state lab, you're looking at about 7 to 9 month minimum fingerprint processing, unless the police department has its own in-house fingerprint analyst that can do it in-house. If you're sending it to the state lab, you're looking at minimum 7 to 9 months, bare minimum. DNA evidence is a years-long wait for any DNA evidence. That's why most police departments don't even fucking bother trying to collect DNA evidence, except in cases of, like, SA. SA DNA evidence is collected as a standard. Homicide as well. They'll try and, they may do fingernails, do fingernail scrapings. But DNA evidence that, like, they show on, on CSI, where even in some of the most benign cases, no, you're not getting DNA evidence in that. You're not getting it for the majority of homicide. You're getting it for SA cases, and even then, you're talking years of processing. And in homicide cases, if you get DNA evidence, it's still yours unless you're somehow able to fast track it because of extenuating circumstances. So yeah, all this shit does not happen. Ask any cop, this shit don't fucking happen. Leo, I will try not to, but I offer no promises.
The fresh out of college student scoring a great apartment in a swanky part of town while working minimum wage job for themselves. In reality, you'd have 4 roommates for such a place, or you're living in a dump in a bad part of town.
Maracas. Yeah. The college student that just graduated, the college student that just graduated is working at McDonald's. Okay, the majority of college students that are working at McDonald's after they graduate while they try and find a job that they actually studied in college for these days. Maybe if they're really lucky, you get an internship while you're in college and your internship goes really well and the place you intern at offers you a job when you graduate and actually follows through on it. 9 times out of 10 you don't, and the majority of people going to college these days are getting degrees they can't even use, and so they're working minimum wage jobs. Some of them, yes, Athanasha, yeah, like some of them is, you get the college student that comes from that has a rich mommy and daddy, and mommy and daddy have paid for their rent for a year in advance on the rent, and that's how they can afford it, etc. But yeah, Peter Parker's apartment in the Tobey Maguire movies is at the end of No Way Home. When he's on his own. That also like that. Yeah, the majority of them are living in a really shitty apartment, or you're living in an apartment with one or multiple roommates. Absolutely, and chances are you don't like any of those roommates.
When someone throws a grenade into a building and the whole building blows up. Grenades in movies either destroy everything in a mile radius or they are the equivalent of light shove. There is no in between. And there's always a fireball. Grenades don't make much fun.
Yes. Movies fuck around with grenades so much. And there are extremely few movies that understand that what the lethality of a grenade is not the explosion, but the fragmentation. It's always in movies and in TV shows the explosion that kills them, not the fragmentation, when it's actually the fragmentation that kills them, not the explosion. Basically, grenades in movies are basically... Yeah, oh yes, Desperado. You're talking about when you drop 2 grenades down in an alley and just like a fucking nuke goes off when they're walking away from the blast, which again, that's another trope where they're just like, him and Salma Hayek slowly, with the cool slow motion walk away from this massive fucking explosion. That's another one that the other guys lampooned. The movie, The Other Guys with, Mark Wahlberg and what's his name? Schlock. Will Ferrell. Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell and The Other Guys. They lampoon all of that stuff, like jumping off the building and being able to jump like 10 stories and survive. Nope, that killed them in the beginning of the movie. Walking away all cool from an explosion and it doesn't affect you. Nope, they got blown off their feet and they couldn't hear anything because their ears were ringing. They're going, how do people do that in the movies? Yeah, none of that shit works. Okay? They treat grenades like they are 5 pounds of fucking tannerite. And even then it's not right. Yeah, see, what? Jesus, Dragon, look at what they, yeah, someone mentioned it before. Not even Die Hard 2, Die Hard 1. When he takes a couple bricks of C4, puts a monitor on it, for reasons, I don't know why, dumps it down the elevator shaft and hits it, and a fucking fireball roars up through the elevator shaft from the bottom and through the door that blasts him off his feet. This is from like 2 bricks of C4. C4 does not explode like that. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, exactly, Zed. Like, when Heath Ledger's Joker blew up the building and was, like, walking away, he actually kind of, like, winced and was like, oh, shit, and, like, kind of, like, ran off. Yeah, they kind of got that one right. Oh, yeah, shooting, yeah, and all the guns, okay, they may actually talk about this here, about shooting guns indoors being a really bad fucking idea. They may talk about that.
Fire. I know it's the most common one, but since it hasn't been mentioned yet, I'll mention it. Gun reloads, or lack thereof, and the insane amount of ammunition the protagonist is carrying.
They've gotten... Okay. This really applies to the old 80s movies. The 80s movies was the era of infinite ammunition, particularly Schwarzenegger movies. They are getting better with that in modern day movies. In modern day action movies, yeah, like John Wick does reloads probably better than any other movie. But the modern day movies are doing better when it comes to reloads and ammunition counts. They are starting to do better with it. But this trope is very much an 80s trope, particularly Schwarzenegger. Well, okay, it's not about the act of reloading ping. It's the fact that, people carry basically infinite ammo and can constantly just reload. They never run out of reloads. That's what this is referencing, not like the cool reload thing. And again, modern Hollywood is Rambo was really bad about it too. Modern Hollywood is starting to do better when it comes to ammunition counts, how much ammo a single person can carry, and things like that. They are getting better with it.
That everyone in a Tom Cruise movie is the same height or shorter than him.
Oh, God. Yeah. Okay. This isn't a thing that happens that pisses off. This is just funny, and this is a shots fired moment. Uh-huh. Cause isn't Tom Cruise like, what is he, like 5'7", 5'8"? I'm not even sure how tall he is. He's like, I think it's like 5'7" or 5'8", isn't he? Something like that? No. He's 5'6". Okay, 5'6" sounds about right. No, Goose was taller. Oh god, Anthony Edwards. Yeah, Anthony Edwards was not shorter than Cruise. He was taller than Cruise. 5'6" sounds about. No, he is not shorter than me. I know he's not shorter than me.
After a hit to the head or being knocked unconscious, people are fine after a minute. Concussions don't seem to exist in movies.
Okay, I'm gonna let this cook. There's some truth to this.
It's super bad for you. God bless Archer.
Okay. Yeah, Archer handled injuries correctly too. Archer also handled reload. Like, Archer lampooned a lot of the bullshit in Hollywood. It was really fucking well done. Okay. Being hit on the head or even being knocked unconscious for a couple seconds is... You don't necessarily have a concussion just by getting hit on the head. Okay?
Hey, I am 5'7". What are you implying?
That you're 5'7", Kanito? I think they were implying that Tom Cruise always supposedly is bigger than most of his co-stars when he's actually shorter. Yeah, it's... concussion, yeah. True, they say concussions don't seem to exist. Like, all of the heroes that are basically getting fucking leveled by either people or explosions or anything like that, yeah, that's bullshit. Like, getting fucking launched by an explosion that sends you through a wall and then just getting up like, oh, yeah, that's bullshit. People, you can take a whack on the head and get get knocked out for a couple seconds. And then be okay afterwards. That actually can be a thing. You do want to be careful with it, though. And people being knocked out for less than a minute is good. That's normally people, when you get, like, quote unquote knocked unconscious, it's not like in Hollywood, where if you get knocked out and you wake up hours later, if that actually happened, you'd be in the goddamn ICU. If you got knocked unconscious and are waking up hours later, that's get you into the emergency room immediately because your brain is hemorrhaging. Normally when you get, like, knocked out, you know, when you get, like, quote unquote knocked unconscious, you are only out for at most 30 seconds. If you are unconscious for more than 30 seconds, there is a very real issue regarding a concussion there. Couple minutes, you need to go to the fucking hospital because chances are you may have a brain bleed if you've been unconscious for a couple minutes. That shit is absolutely correct. You after a couple minutes, yes, that is a problem. So, this is partially correct and partially incorrect. It's both. It can be both.
Archer. Shooting the monitor as a way of stopping the computer.
Oh my
Alright,
god,
let me
yes.
tell you the good news. We don't need the monitor. Oh my god, I love Spider-Verse so damn much. Especially that scene.
What?
Laughed my A off the first.
Okay, I never saw the Spider-Verse. Did they shoot a monitor in the Spider-Verse? I never saw that. But yes, now the one time, quote unquote, shooting the monitor as a way of stopping the computer works is if the computer's an all-in-one. If the computer's an all-in-one, that works because the monitor is literally in front of all the computer components. Not just iMac. Windows PCs have it too. Like every computer manufacturer makes an all-in-one computer. So if it's an all-in-one computer, shooting the monitor will stop the computer. However, if it's a monitor in a tower, yes, shooting the monitor is not going to do a fucking thing. And this trope was biggest, again, back during like the 80s and the 90s. Laptop won't stop at Grindhouse. On the monitor on a laptop is just the monitor. You can plug in an external monitor to the HDMI port on that laptop and it will work just fine. But yeah, they typically did this in the 80s and 90s back when computers had like the CRT monitors and they basically exploded whenever you shot them. That's the other thing is you shoot these things and they like literally fucking explode.
Time. People sneaking around inside air ducts.
Oh,
Don't get me
God.
wrong. In big buildings you absolutely can walk around in there. I've done it a lot. But,
Yeah.
1. They're dirty as sin. Not
Oh, yeah.
gleaming metal. 2.
Correct.
There are screws poking in there and sharp edges everywhere. 3.
Also true.
There are lots of barriers to movement.
Mhm.
Fans, filters, humidifiers, dampers and fire dampers.
Sit.
All of those would stop your progress. 4. It's not a quiet process. That
Nope.
metal bongs and clunks like crazy under your weight. Reminds me of the Mythbusters episode where Adam tries sneaking through a duct using magnets and it sounds like a damn cannon.
Oh, really? They did a Mythbuster episode for that? Oh, that would be cool. But yeah, like, the air ducts thing, yeah, that don't work. Not to mention, like, some of the air, like, the way they showcase the air ducts, too, it's like, the air ducts are, like, hanging from, like, these single pieces of metal, like, that are, what, like, stretched, like, 5 feet apart, these pieces of metal holding up the ducts. That's not gonna hold a human's weight. That thing will just boom, it'll collapse on you. Yeah, exactly. Like the ones that they show in the movies will not hold your weight. Oh yeah. I don't remember that, Leo. So yeah, the whole air ducts thing. Yeah. Oh, absolutely, Dragon. Video games are guilty of a lot of these tropes too.
Movie depictions of childbirth are often ridiculously
Oh
wrong.
god.
They make it look so easy, quick, and
Eh,
clean.
eh.
This is not the case. The baby comes out clean and
Yep.
3 months old. My kid
Ah!
came out of a cut in my wife's stomach. £9 and 50 pence and looked like a screaming bloody fat purple
Jesus!
sumo wrestler. Seeing my wife with her stomach open like that has been scarred into my mind. I'm glad
Jesus.
she had the screen and couldn't see. Yeah, the process is much more traumatic than I expected. OBTW, this whole thing can kill both your wife and your child in one go. And we're really busy with 50 other people. So you'll need to use your zero medical knowledge to alert us for when it's time for the baby to actually come. I hope you get a bunch of
That's
sleep
true,
now because
Cortanus.
you won't get much when the barb is here. Teehee. Yeah, thanks. The sleep deprivation wasn't particularly fun. Meanwhile,
Jesus.
over here at T plus 30 minutes I'm thanking God that I don't have to plan 2 funerals while also trying to chit chat with a billion relatives that I didn't know I had all trying to see bye.
Okay, that was a glorious tangent. Yeah, like, Hollywood does not show women and young girls who don't know about childbirth yet what actual childbirth is like. There are more than a few women that childbirth is very dangerous. I was gonna mention that, Dragon. Yes, I was going to mention that too. One thing you never hear about is that when you have natural vaginal childbirth as a woman, you will poop yourself. You absolutely will poop yourself having quote unquote natural childbirth as a woman. Why? Because part of it does. I should preface this. This is a very generalized thing. The experience for every woman can vary wildly. Okay? And Seraphim, thank you for the gifted. Yeah, remember when you hear doctors tell a woman to bear down or push, they're literally pushing the baby out using the same muscle, basically the same muscles that you use to push out a poop. It's the same muscles. So yeah, a woman will shit herself giving birth. This is comment. Yeah, Scrubs talked about this, LaRook. They actually, there was a scene in Scrubs when his wife was going to be giving birth and Dr. Cox told her about how she's going to poop herself. Oh yeah. So yeah, there's Hollywood sanitizes the ever-living fuck out of what childbirth actually looks like. It ain't clean, it ain't pretty, and there's not a whole lot of happiness until several hours, or days, after the actual birth.
Bye. Fire, lava, etc. has no heat. People can be suspended over a volcano, or in the case of The Hobbit, surf on molten metal and no one gets so much as a blister. Add to this, characters falling into the lava and sinking like it's just glowing yellow pudding. Setting aside that they'd probably actually burst into flame and steam on contact if not before. Lava still has the density of rock. You ain't gonna sink into that. Don't forget that.
Okay.
It's okay to breathe the superheated gases coming from the lava too. I remember a movie in which they stopped lava from entering the city
I was going to talk about this. I was going to talk about this. Yes, with all of this, he's talking about the movie Volcano. Wait, no. Is it? Wait. Yeah, okay, it is Volcano. Yeah. It's Tommy Lee Jones and N.H. The scene that they're talking about where, up here, this one right here, there was a scene in it where there was a subway car that basically the erupting volcano in the middle of LA basically caused the tunnel to collapse on a subway car. So some city workers go into the subway to try and evacuate people from the subway car, and the lava is flowing towards the front of the subway car, and everybody's breathing fine. Everybody's breathing largely fine. And then the lava starts hitting the train, and the driver is still in there, and so the head guy of these city workers jumps in and starts firemen carrying him. The lava is underneath the train at this point. It's so hot that the rubber of his shoes are melting to the floor of the subway car, yet he's still carrying this guy. He's having a little trouble, but he's still carrying him. Gets to the end of the car, and the lava has already moved past the end of the car by probably about a couple feet. And so what does he do? He jumps, lands in the lava, and starts to sink, and then somehow manages to throw the guy that he's fireman carrying another couple of feet forward from a standing position, just kind of rotates and throws the guy from a standing position, and then sinks into the lava. In the meantime, everybody else is fine. Yeah, and he sinks and he's standing up the whole time, doesn't die instantaneously. Somehow he has survived up to this point. He only dies when he's sunk about halfway, dissolved basically, halfway into the lava, and then he dies. In the meantime, everybody else that is literally 5 feet from the lava. Don't forget, everybody else is 5 feet from this moving lava. They are fine. They are just fine. As well as all the rest of the people in the movie in the other scenes when there's flowing lava. They're 5 fucking feet away from the lava. Fine. It's not hot. Not at all. And then the scene that they're talking about here there was lava flowing down the street. They got a bunch of concrete barricades, and they set up basically a dam. And the plan was that the lava would hit the concrete barriers, and then they would hit it with water. Yeah, K-rails. They would hit it with water when it hit the K-rails, and it would cause the front end to cool, and it would, quote unquote, dam itself. The problem being when they set up these K-rails, there are gaps between the K-rails that the lava could and should have flowed through. And all these firefighters are standing there, holding it, and, God, it was just, this is the movie in question that that this person is talking about. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, it's absolutely okay. Yeah, Revenge of Sith lava. Yes, Revan. Someone may bring that up in this thread here. The Revenge of the Sith lava. It's just lava is not treated properly at all. I don't think any movie has actually treated lava properly. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous as hell. It is a fun movie. There's no question, it is a fun movie. And it's fucking Tommy Lee Jones. Of course it's a fun movie. But it's stupid as hell.
Blocks. And then they tried to cool it off by spraying water on it.
There is.
A truly amazing scene. Yes, that was a movie about a volcano that erupts in Los Angeles. So they have to get a volcano expert to help them stop the volcano from
Oh, no. No. They did not get a volcano expert. Anne Heche was a geologist. She was not a volcano expert. She was not a volcanologist. She was a geologist. Not a volcanologist. No, it's not. Shut up, Sam. So, PJ Abroni? Yeah, wrong. Yet on fucked up.
Destroying everything. I think it was called The Mountain Full of Lava. Whenever some idiot is running on foot while being chased by a car that's trying to run them down,
my God.
they without fail always run straight down the middle of the street. when all
Yep.
they have to do is simply run off to the side where there's trees and lampposts and plenty of others to block them from
Yep.
getting hit. In that case, I always root for whoever's driving. This is common.
A counterpoint. In
Even underwater volcanoes keep moving.
yes, that's correct. Counterpoint to this, in movies, people do run off to the side and the cars chase after them, and there's no trees, there's no lampposts, the sidewalks are empty, or people go jumping out of the way, and so none of the people get hit, or the car just barrels on through then and it doesn't stop them. So either way is bullshit. Either way.
When running away from almost anything. Big boulder chasing you down. Run straight. Never turn. Some tall skinny pillar falling down. Run lengthwise. Don't try to sidestep it. Or when they do run to the side, it's always at the last second for style points.
Yes!
When they could have sidestepped it from the very beginning. But it wouldn't have looked as cool.
The ever popular and where do you think the Prometheus school of running away from things got its name? This is Prometheus. That's like, you guys may have heard the expression, the Prometheus school of running away from things. That's where it came from. Okay, Indy didn't have a choice. He was in a cave. He didn't have anywhere to strafe to. Yeah, it is real life. It is real. And the reason for that, the reason why it is a real life thing is because it's the fight or flight response. And when you go into the flight response, you're not thinking rationally most of the time. That's the whole thing is you're in real life when you're running away from something in a panic. Yes, Canito, cinema sins. Yes. Right. Panic is overriding your logic circuits. Some people can overcome this, but when you're in a panic flight mode, you're not thinking, oh, I can just go left or I can just go right and just step to the side. You're in a panic. Your lizard brain is saying, get the fuck away from that as fast as possible, and you just book it. And it is a flawed, legit human response. That's why it is a Hollywood trope, because it actually does happen in real life. Yes, people can overcome the lizard brain and think logically and go, oh, step to the side. But when you're in a panic, you're typically not thinking logically. So it's a Hollywood trope, but it does have a Hollywood trope based on reality. Yes, fight, flight, freeze. There's like I think there was a fourth one that was introduced as well. I think they're always adding more of that thing. But anyway, yeah, it is a trope, but there is a basis in reality. Faint, that might be it, yeah.
The member of the group that sacrifices themselves for no reason.
Oh, God.
Go on without me. I'll never make it. Yes, you will. I'll carry you. No, seriously. Go on.
Yep.
The writer needs me to die here so that I'm not with you guys when you need me later, or so that you can use me as he would have wanted you to. Excuse. But it doesn't make sense for him to die here. So, I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about it.
Oh my God! Quoting fucking Ryan George! Oh my God! Okay, Fun and Geeky, you are based for quoting Pitch Meeting right there. That is fucking... You good sir or madam are fucking dazed. Yeah, wow. Not. Or the most famous of them all, it'll be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Yes, yeah, Fun and Geeky is tight. Wait. Tysell, it's your birthday! It's your birthday! Tysell? I can think of no better reason to interrupt my react than to say, Tysell, can I sing you happy birthday? Please. Please, Dysel, let me sing you happy birthday. Please. Eh? Yeah. Alright, I know you guys have already been saying it, but big happy birthdays for Dysel. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tysel. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Tysel. And say hi to YouTube, because this is going in the YouTube video. Happy birthday, Tysel. Okay there. Alright, let us continue.
This. Homes are always spotless and ridiculously large, and inhabited by people who were taken from House Hunter's central casting. She is a part-time kindergarten teaching assistant. He plays a tambourine in a Fleetwood Mac cover band. Their budget is $12 million.
Yes!
Gotta love the marketing intern that lives in a spacious Nick apartment by herself. Craig and Starcher are looking for a 2-story A-frame that's near Craig's job in the downtown, but also satisfies Starcher's need to be near the beach, which is nowhere near Craig's job, with 3 children and 9 on the way, and a max budget of $7. Let's see what Laurie Joe can do on this week's episode of You Don't Deserve a Beach House.
Okay, so are we... Okay, so, like, this evolved into House Hunters. This went from, like, Hollywood tropes to just fucking House Hunters, which is just fucking crazy. Okay then. But yeah, that is a Hollywood trope of, like, it's like the Friends thing. Like, the way that the characters lived in Friends is one thing that people always point to. How Monica and Monica, Rachel, and CB all had that fucking huge apartment, and they didn't have they didn't have the greatest of jobs. Whereas Chandler and Joey actually had a very nice apartment themselves, and they didn't have the best of jobs. Yeah. And they're like, they were like, what, uptown Manhattan or something like that? They were living in a place where those the girl's apartment should have cost, like, fuck, that must have probably been like a tenth, like they mentioned the last episode was rent controlled. Of course they did. Probably because people were calling them out on it. Very likely because they were calling them out on it. Yeah, and 90s, it was rent controlled in the last episode. Not the last episode? Okay. Chandler did? Okay. It's just, that's the one example a lot of people point to is the location they're living in. Well, Ross was in, what was he, a paleontologist, I think? Briefly, and he pissed away all of his money on shit. He was briefly an actor on a successful TV show, burned through all of his money in, like, no time flat, and then lost the acting gig. Yeah, he was a paleontologist, then a university professor, and we really didn't see much about his apartment. It was all, like, the show took place in the girl's apartment and the guy's apartment. You never really saw Ross's, so...
Every time a car drives off stops there's a sound of tires screeching.
Yes!
Even if on a dirt road.
Yes!
Bad science
oh my god. Yes. Hollywood fucking loves its tire screeches. Yes, Joey was still an actor. He was a struggling actor. That's the thing. He was a struggling actor. He was only successful briefly. That was it. Otherwise he was struggling.
In general. Quantum nanotechnology. English,
Oh
please.
my god,
The old
yes.
out of the blue intentional T-bone car accident. Like the bad guy is psychic and
Yes!
knew when and where
Oh
to
my
be,
god, yes,
and
this
is
is
totally
insane.
immune to the flow of traffic so they could time it just right to
Yes!
T-bone someone in an intersection. Absurd. Not to mention it never seems to actually succeed in causing the death of the intended victim. Nor does the bad guy ever seem to get injured at all.
No! In fact, they do perfect timing with the T-bone, and the bad guys actually come blitzing out of their vehicles a lot of times to grab the hero or heroine out of the car they just T-boned, drag them out of the car, and kidnap them. And they are all perfectly fine, by the way, and no airbags go off. Like, the airbags on the bad guy's vehicle do not go off. Now, The Dark Knight, they did that right. No, wait, no, you're talking about, no, okay, no, never mind. I retract my statement. You're talking about when he hit it with the tumbler. When Batman jumped the tumbler right in front of when the Joker fired the RPG at the policeman taking Harvey. Yeah, yes. That is a perfect example. Yes. Yeah, well, the bad guy's car is perfectly fine. Yes. J10, how many bad guys do you know actually know how to disable their airbags? Particularly the driver's side airbag. Like, passenger side airbags, yes, they're not difficult to disable. Many cars have switches to disable passenger side airbags. You can't disable the driver's side airbag, at least not easily.
Wonder how many times the bad guy missed trying to do that before. Like he sets up his run for the T-bone but doesn't realize the intended victim stopped at a previous red light or stop sign, so the timing was all off. Stops semi-trailer at green light. Honk. F off. I'm waiting to T-bone somebody. Doesn't piss me off. But as a paraplegic, whenever someone in a movie is supposed to be disabled and they're using some shitty fold-up wheelchair that you would see in a hospital or Walmart, anyone who lives in a wheelchair and has some minimal insurance or medical assistance would have a much better chair. I'm currently sitting with about $4,000 under my A. Paid about $500 after insurance. The only time someone would be using one of those shitty wheelchairs would be if they were recently injured or are temporarily injured.
Not wrong. Now, I do think that sometimes though, it's a fair assessment, but sometimes, like with the person that is supposed to be disabled, they are somewhat destitute. They don't have insurance, they don't have a lot of money, and that shitty little hospital or Walmart wheelchair is all they can afford. That is sometimes a plot point to show how destitute they are. So, in some cases, it is the point. Not always, but in sometimes it is the whole point.
Really injured. Neck breaking for an easy or quick kill. I'm getting sick of it. Careful how hard you roll your eyes at that stunt. I saw a movie where a guy broke his neck doing that once. I don't know. Seems pretty realistic to
Yeah. This one, oh my god. Hollywood makes it seem like you just do a quick little hand gesture. Quick hands, and you've snapped someone's neck. Like, it don't work that way. There are like some movies that do it legit, like they'll actually like really crank into the person. Like they'll get the person like in like an actual like full grip, and will actually crank on it and actually like show like they are exhibiting legit force onto it to do it. But yeah, back in like the 80s and the 90s, it was literally two hands on either side of the head, quick movements of the hands, and boom, the neck is snapped. They used to be really bad about that. I seem to remember one like in like Lethal Weapon 1, Riggs did it where he just came in like two hands, quick snap. But Hollywood is getting better when it comes to neck breaking. It's not a quick process, and they are starting to showcase that it takes a great deal of force to facilitate a fatal neck breaking. Because let's not forget, the neck breaking may not necessarily be fatal. It could just be paralyzing, depending on how it's done. So yeah, Hollywood is starting to get better with this. It was bad back in the 80s and the 90s, though. Like, they just made it seem like everybody's neck was just made of glass.
To me. Slight inconveniences that could easily be solved that are the main conflict of the movie.
Oh my god.
Hallmark anyone? 30-40
Not just Hallmark.
year olds living high school or even JR high level drama. That
This? Oh my sweet fuck, I hate these. This is something in movies that royally pisses me off, where people do not simply talk. Not every teen movie. Literally every romance movie, the major conflicting plot point is because people don't simply fucking talk to each other like normal fucking people. There is some huge fucking misunderstanding that runs the entire goddamn runtime of the movie because no one talks like a real person. This doesn't happen. For like romances, telling someone how you feel, a misunderstanding, mistaken identities, like all of this, like this is like full runtimes of the movie when just fucking talk to people. These people just don't simply shut up and talk like normal fucking people. This drives me up the fucking wall. And what it is a sign of lazy fucking writing. That's what this is. Doing this shit is a sign of lazy writing where the writer is not smart enough to come up with a legit problem that the heroes have to work through, or that your lead characters have to work through. So you're gonna go with this stupid misunderstanding that will last the entire fucking runtime of the movie. Until the big third act breakup.
40 year olds living high school or even JR high level drama. That a sample can be DNA processed in 2
There we
minutes
go.
so you know who your killer is.
Okay, I'm not gonna rage on this one. I already talked about it.
Top. I'm not even.
I am waiting for when movies get historical facts wrong.
That may or may not be on this. I don't know, JRC. And yeah, this 100% is the CSI syndrome. Anything related to physical evidence or computer, or video evidence, it is absolute. It's not the CSI syndrome, it's the CSI effect. And yes, absolutely. I'm surprised this person's crediting Lucifer. Like all of the CSIs were bad for it, Matt, but CSI Miami did amp the drama factor up. It did. But yeah, this is 100% the CSI. And again, not just DNA, literally everything from an evidentiary point of view.
Mad. The CSI chick will be standing over the body at the crime scene and tell them what the lab results were. Ella really is crazy with that. Another thing I love is when they are in some kind of crisis and Ella's like, I can run it in the lab but it will take some time. And someone else is like, we don't have time. Which allows Ella to magically get DNA results in 2 minutes. Acting like an easily removable piece of duct tape silences someone. When I was a teenager,
I'm gonna let this cook and then I'll talk.
I played with duct tape often, and I felt the need to test this trope. I put a single piece of duct tape over my own mouth and gave it the best seal I could give. I was able to remove it with my tongue in just a few seconds. Yes, in real life it only muffles the screaming slightly.
Not even. Not even. Okay. Stepping up, chat. It's learning time. A single piece of duct tape over the mouth does nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay? Even wrapping duct tape is sometimes only partially. You need to have stuffing. You need to have something substantial stuffed into the mouth. And then wrap the tape. Okay? Even like one turn of duct tape is still not enough. It's like a single piece, even more than a single piece. Even if you put multiple pieces, like say you do 3, you go one centered, one angled one way, one angled the other way, full coverage, still not going to work, especially with women. Duct tape as a gag is especially ineffective with women for one very specific reason. Makeup. Duct tape does not like to stick to makeup. Unless you are doing a full wrap around the head, just slapping duct tape on the mouth on a woman that is wearing makeup, it won't stick. It'll stick for a very briefly. It comes off extremely easily. Yeah. You need okay, no, Dragon, no. You get one of those books. Do not use crazy glue on the mouth. Fuck no, that is dangerous. Crazy glue is toxic, and it will send you to the fucking emergency room. Never, ever, ever, ever do that. Yes, you want to properly gag someone, you have to stuff something in their mouth. The favorite is taking a girl's panties and stuffing them into her mouth, and then doing about 2 to 3 wraps of duct tape around the head. Yes. That is how you gag someone with duct tape, so all they can do is or whimper. That is the proper way to do it. Or you can get one of any number of gags to buckle into someone's mouth. Xanax, yeah, you don't do that. There are videos that people do that. It burns and you go to the hospital. So, yeah, this, like, duct tape, like, just taking a strip of duct tape on the mouth, even multiple strips of duct tape on the mouth, doesn't work, and it especially with women that are wearing makeup, the duct tape won't stick to the makeup. It comes off real fucking easy.
Slightly. Setting off fire alarm
I'm not
fire
an idiot.
sprinklers.
We are talking about movies here. I am well aware that is dangerous.
Yeah, are you talking about, I think it was House of Wax, Dragon? I believe there was a scene in, I think it was House of Wax, where a girl was, like, strapped to a chair and the bad guy basically used duct tape on her lips to basically gag her. Is that what I think I remember. I think it was House of Wax. That's the scene that I'm guessing you're referencing. And again, it's like, that is a movie only. It is a movie only. Do not do it in real life.
A fire alarm will not activate fire sprinklers. Setting off a single sprinkler head will not set off the entire system. Each fire sprinkler has either a glass bulb with heat-sensitive liquid or a metal fusible link. You need to essentially break the bulk link on each individual sprinkler to allow the water to flow. The water leaving the sprinkler system will be black from the years of corrosion that occurs inside due to the stagnant water. You do not want to be around this water when it comes out. I designed these systems. I know how this works. If I am not wrong, you are the expert. It takes a significant amount of heat also. Ordinary temperature sprinkler heads are 155 F. These will be the most common sprinkler heads you will come across. You can tell because the bulb color will be red. You will also have a standard response bulb, 5mm thick, and quick response bulb, 3mm thick. Gift wrapping the box and the lid separately. I mean, I get why they do it, multiple takes, but it always sticks out to me. Also, every bag of groceries has French bread.
Okay, this one, yes. Every bag of groceries having French bread. Yes, that is the staple single female in the city shopping list. It is every bag of groceries has a baguette in every single girl's grocery bag, especially particularly in New York City. This is particular to New York City. the gift wrapping the box and lid separately, that's forgivable. I can forgive that. It's fine. It's a cute little thing. But yeah, every bag of groceries with a baguette, that's a staple.
All the groceries,
And paper bags,
apart
yes.
from the French bread, are spherical items like oranges and melons, and they always drop them and they roll away.
Also
Last
true.
night I had baguettes and loose oranges for dinner, so that's literally what I buy. And there's the same newspaper in every TV show. I concede
Well,
your
okay.
first point, but damn it, every grocery bag should have a baguette in it. How terrible the bad guys are at shooting, and good guys just pull out a gun while running and shoot a dude dead from across the parking
Yes.
lot. THX for silver woo-woo. EMTs
Yes. Well, okay. This should be specific. How bad the cannon fodder bad guys are at shooting. When you get to the bosses are crack shots. It's the cannon fodder thugs that are bad at shooting. We need to be specific here. The upper and the mid bosses and the final bosses are great at shooting. We need to be specific there.
from across the parking lot. THX for silver woo-woo. EMTs doctors random hero person using a defibrillator on a person that has flatlined.
Oh god,
That is
yes.
not how it works.
No.
You shock a flatline and all you do is make the patient even more dead.
Yes.
Flatliners get drugs to get their hearts beating, and then get shocked if that beat is abnormal.
Yes, I've talked about this before. If a patient has literally zero heartbeat, they are flatline. No rhythm whatsoever. Defibs don't do it. It's in the fucking name. It's in the goddamn name. The defibrillator is in it is when it is for when the patient is in VFib, i.e. it's in ventricular fibrillation. The defibrillator is to remove the ventricular fibrillation to get them back into more of a sinus rhythm. VTAC is not VTAC. You don't shock either. That's ventricular tachycardia. That means the heartbeat's beating too fast. VFib is when basically the heart is not beating. It's just kind of vibrating. Essentially, it's not actually beating. It's just kind of like vibrating or like sputtering. That's what VFib is. VTAC means the heart is just fucking racing. So ventricular tachycardia. Quivering. That's ace. Good phrasing there. Yeah. And so that's what VFib is. Defibrillation, it's in the word, is to defibrillate. To get the patient out of ventricular fibrillation. So that's what that is for. And yeah, they'll use drugs. Usually they'll hit them with adrenaline. Usually they'll pop a couple cc's of adrenaline, and they will go to not only drugs, but they'll also go to chest compressions. The minute you get a flatline, they will immediately jump into chest compressions. And they will crank on that patient's chest like it's no tomorrow. And if they can get it, no. The cardial thump is not used. That is primarily a Hollywood thing for dramatic effect. Their doctors have, on rare occasions, used a cardial thump. It doesn't do anything. Just chest compression, as Dr. Mike would say if you've ever watched his channel, chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions. That's what you do. Fuck the cardial thump, just do chest compressions. Exactly, yeah, and you need to make sure when you're, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so tornado cardial thump is basically when you see it in TV shows where you take your fist and you just like pound on the person's chest. That's actually a legit medical procedure. It's called the cardial thump. It's to basically try and deliver a shock, essentially, to the heart. But it doesn't really work. That's the thing. It doesn't really work, and that's why it's rarely ever used. Your dog, typically it's staying alive. Typically, when you do chest compressions, you do it to the beat of, most people use staying alive for the beat of doing your chest compressions.
Most mod needs won't even let you shock someone if they're flatlining, or if
That's
they
true.
don't have an arrhythmia. Exactly. Unfortunately, the myth of shocking a flatline is so prevalent that most people don't seem to know that. I
Nope.
can only hope that if I keel over somewhere, the aid brought to me is particularly user-friendly. All you do is make the patient even more dead. He's dead. Jim, goddammit. Make him more dead. Rubs paddles. Clear. He's dead. Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean what they're saying about the modern automatic AEDs that literally anyone can operate because they're kind of dummy proof won't shock. You cannot do a manual shock on them. They are fully automated. So if the AEDs, the automatic AEDs do not detect any rhythm, it won't shock, and it will actually say shock not advised. And you as an individual, you cannot override an automatic AED. There's no magical override button that you can push. Like, God damn it, he needs a shock and I know better. Shock him. That doesn't happen.
Sure. Shocks yes. That bugs the shout of my wife, RN, too. I make sure to point it out to her each time, just in case she's not paying attention. They did that on ER for like 10 years. Nobody bothered to tell them. When the plot necessitates the protagonist to be unconscious for several
There
hours
we go.
due to
I
a
was
blow to
talking
the
about
head,
this.
then she
I was
just
talking about
regains
this.
consciousness, shakes their head a few times, and is back to normal. I've
Yep.
had several concussions from sports in my life, and only one where I lost consciousness, and that was
No,
for maybe
Tornado, if there's normal sinus rhythm, it will not shock. It will again do shock not advised. The automatic AEDs will only shock if it detects VFib. If it's not VFib, if it's flatline, if it's VTAC, if it's sinus, it will not shock. They are specifically programmed not to do that.
several seconds. For that one I spent weeks fighting nausea, headaches, and vision problems. My mood was impacted for months. There's no way I could just get up and start kicking A after being out for several hours.
Yeah.
If you're out for several hours from a blow to the head, it's pretty unlikely you will ever wake up. Also, if someone cracks you on the head hard enough to induce unconsciousness, you're probably going to spend the next little while either seizuring, throwing up, or just really tired and dizzy. You're certainly not going to leap up and chase someone along a moving train.
Yeah.
When they give a person CPR and the person walks away unscathed.
Oh,
when you give
yeah.
proper CPR, you are essentially breaking ribs to pump the heart, and sure,
Here we go.
it doesn't happen
No.
to every
Rygat, this is just fake things that happens in movies that pisses you off. And this is right. If you're doing CPR properly, you're cracking ribs. The level of downward pressure, the depth of your chest compressions is such that you are breaking ribs. There is no getting around that. So if you are in a position where you have to administer CPR and you have to administer chest compressions, go ham. Don't be scared of the cracking in the ribs. It's going to probably scare the fuck out of you. It's to save their life. Just make sure they're actually unconscious and they don't have a heartbeat before you do it. Please.
one, but still see a doc after that, and anything medically related like EpiPens being used then magically all normal. All of these require being looked at a doctor emergency care.
Yeah. Treating an EpiPen like this, like it's basically full of like fairy goo. When someone's having an allergic reaction and you hit them with an EpiPen, they do not suddenly just like, like say someone's going into anaphylactic shock, because of a peanut allergy, and they're sitting there going, because their throat's closed up because of an allergic reaction. Someone hits them with an EpiPen, all of a sudden they're going, it don't work that way. It don't work that way. EpiPens, the epinephrine takes a couple of minutes to work, and it's not as sudden like, I'm fine. No. It don't work that way. It's not instantaneous, and your ass still needs to go to the hospital. Oh, don't even get started on how badly they fuck up tracheotomies. They might even get into this. Oh yeah, Pulp Fiction, yeah, takes the needle of adrenaline into her heart. Yeah.
Directly afterward, so I've had to use EP for anaphylaxis and it is bonker balls. Like, my whole body started vibrating for 2 solid minutes and I wanted to fight and cry and I was so mad at absolutely nothing. But this student paramedic was monitoring me to make sure I didn't have a heart attack, so I felt obligated to be nice to him. I had to try really hard to keep my inside voice from moving to outside voice. I could see more things. Like my field of vision was more clear and the room was brighter. Then, afterwards I had to get liters of saline and steroids via IV and was still at risk of rebound reactions for 24 hours. And every muscle in my body hurt and I was exhausted. Amazingly though, it did almost instantly stop the anaphylaxis. My throat relaxed. My mouth stopped tingling. My legs stopped itching. Head to toe in probably 3-4 seconds. Just wild. Eater, thanks for the awards.
I mean, this is uncommon for it to happen this quickly, unless unless he actually received a direct injection into a vein by a paramedic. I think if a paramedic did a direct injection, like if a paramedic set up an IV line and then injected it via the IV line, that could maybe do it in 35 seconds. Your standard, like, emergency EpiPen that most people with severe allergies carry, you basically jam that into your ass, and so you're jamming it into a muscle group so it doesn't rip through your bloodstream as fast, and that's why it would take longer. If it was a paramedic that did a direct, ass or thigh muscle. Like in that area, like the upper thigh muscle or even the lower part of your cheek. That's, you're typically hitting it into a muscle group versus a vein or an artery. If it was a paramedic that administered it to it, then yeah, I could see them doing a direct injection directly into a vein or an artery, and the epinephrine just like shot through their system really fast, and they were good in 3 to 4 seconds. I would buy that. Yes.
EpiPens are literally pumping adrenaline into you. You're getting a flood of holy shit, you're about to die if you don't get your A moving right now hormone. It's gonna make you go clumsy beast mode for a few minutes. And then you get a huge crash. In British soaps, which are she in general, everyone goes to the pub every day but no one ever gets drunk. They also order a pint, take one sip and then just leave. Okay,
is
but
this
please tell me
true?
that your quaint country village is really a high society murder mills though. I've watched enough BBC TV to know they are the most dangerous place on earth.
Fuzz actually lampooned that. This is something that like Hot Fuzz actually lampooned. Where the quaint little village was actually a murder haven. Not for anything like drastic, but literally because they wanted to maintain their like quaintest village in Britain award. So they wanted to kill the greater good. So they basically, there was a flower arranger who wanted to leave, so they killed her because they didn't want her doing flower arranging for another town. And there was like a mine that they killed because they thought it was not, it wasn't a good look. And then the really terrible Shakespearean performers that they killed because he was a really terrible Shakespearean performer. And if you haven't seen it, chat, watch Hot Fuzz. Watch the whole fucking Cornetto trilogy. It's fucking awesome. Okay? You must watch. Chat, your assignment, and you will accept it. There's no choosing. Watch Hot Fuzz. Absolutely go watch Hot Fuzz. It is a great fucking movie. Watch the entire Cornetto trilogy. It's for the greater good.
Watched enough BBC TV to know they are the most dangerous place on earth. Any scene where chloroform knocks someone out in 2 seconds. I feel like Rio officially has gone too far. It takes at least 5 minutes and the dose difference between asleep and dead is really slim.
Yes.
You also likely throw up while you're out, or after you wake up. So that's nice.
That's what Cortez, that's what the difference between asleep and dead is really slim means. It's very convenient for movies to base, it's the thing of kidnapping the girl by putting a chloroform soaked cloth over her face, making her fall asleep in 5 seconds. Doesn't work that way. Chloroform was used in hospitals. They actually showed it in an old episode of MASH, where they ran out of they ran out of anesthesia and they had to go chloroform. And what they did is they put like a mask over the patient's face and they would like do literally a single drip of chloroform to keep the patient unconscious. But it was also causing the nurses to start to like go unconscious too. Because that stuff, like, if you're holding a chloroform rag, you're not only affecting the patient, you're putting it over the person whose mouth they're putting it over, you're breathing in those fumes too, and it's gonna knock your ass out too. And it's not fast. It does, like you said, take like several minutes for it to work.
So that's nice. Guys who get rejected and then stalk the girl and win her over at the end of the movie. Rom-com protagonist.
Oh, yeah.
I love her, but she doesn't love me back. Rom-com friend. Have you tried being really annoying and creepy? Everyone knows that stalking is romantic. Women's hair is always perfect after a crazy action sequence. They are also wearing heels all the time.
Yes!
No matter what.
Jurassic World, we're looking at you. Looking at you, Jurassic World. Fucking, she wore high heels that whole fucking movie. And yes, her hair wasn't, like, bun, but when it was down, it was still perfect looking. Now, I think someone did do a test, and yes, you can run in heels. You can. It ain't easy, but you can do it. You can run in heels. No, she did not, J10. She did not take her heels off at any point. Atsunashi, yes. I'm not an idiot. I know I can run a lot fucking faster. Not in heels. I love my heels, but goddammit, I'm also a realist. Well, geez, every fucking superhero. Every female superhero that has, like, her costume has high-heeled boots, for God's sake. And she's running in them. Yeah, it's just... And I'm gonna do an addition on this. The women's hair always looks perfect after a crazy action sequence. Women also look perfect with perfect makeup and perfect hair when they wake up in the morning and just after they finish having a wild bout of sex. Also, perfect hair, perfect makeup. I wonder if that's gonna come up here.
Crazy stunts they're doing. This one makes me crazy. If your job involves running, jumping, fighting, or any sort of physical activity at all, you don't wear stilettos. Looking at you, Jurassic World.
There it
Buddy
is.
running away from a T-Rex in heels.
There it is.
Should be dead. Let me kill all the bad guys to prove my innocence. Kill an army of mooks. But you can't kill the bad guy with a name because my cycle of revenge could be just like him. The lesson I got from that is only the leaders are people. Everyone else is an animal, it's okay to slaughter. Okay, MR.
My opinion, like with the movies, kill an army of mooks, kill the big bad guy with the name, because you know what? If you leave him alive, he's gonna come back for you. If you are on a revenge mission where you're just a movie revenge mission, where you're just slaughtering people every which way you go, you don't leave the big bad guy alive in any way, shape, or form, because he's only gonna come after you again. He's a threat. You stop the threat. End of discussion.
As a people, everyone else is an animal, it's okay to slaughter. Okay, MR. Hero. Looks like you have all the evidence from the bad guy's secret lair that proves they set you up for the murder of your wife. Terribly sorry about that. Gruff voiced, I just wanna see my kids. Chief. Oh, no. You're going to prison. I've got multiple counts of vigilante action, murder, destruction of public property, destruction of private property, that car you stole to chase the bad guys, evading arrest, and jaywalking.
Yeah, these action movies act like all the massive level of crime that the hero commits to succeed in their mission is just forgotten. Never existed, didn't happen. When in reality, yeah, you're going to jail, you're going to prison. Unless you disappear and unless at the conclusion of your mission you basically, go underground. Then you're gonna be on the run for the rest of your life.
I used all to chase the bad guys, evading arrest, and jaywalking. When people fall in love and decide to spend together the rest of their lives after spending 5 minutes together. Hackers in movie.
Okay. One movie actually got this right. One movie actually got this right with the regret. I haven't seen it, but I know it's the ending of it. The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman. The conclusion of The Graduate is Dustin Hoffman falls in love with the this woman who's gonna be getting married to some other guy. At the end of the movie, he finds her, professes his love to her, and basically she leaves the altar to go with him, and they go running out of the church, and they get on a bus, and they get in the back of the bus, and that's where the movie ends. But the movie ends with a slow closing in, shot of them. They're both smiling, they're both happy, and they're like, oh my god, it's like, you think it's gonna be like, we're gonna be spending the rest of our lives together, and then you see their faces slowly, the reality starts setting in. The smile starts leaving their faces, and they both start slowly getting an oh fucking god, what the fuck have we done look on their face. And that's how the movie ends. Not even looking at each other, looking away from each other, having a complete oh shit, what have we done look on their face. That's a movie where this thing is done right. Where the reality of it sets it. It's the one movie I can think of where this is done right.
Together the rest of their lives after spending 5 minutes together. Hackers in movies. Enters a few keystrokes. You may get a kick out of her Curtipinet. Romantic dramas. Some stupid miscommunication that could have been resolved with 5 minutes of conversation and a phone call turns into some feature-length bullshit. The movie situation. Girl walks in on boyfriend hugging another girl. Girl, I can't believe you cheat on me. I hate you. Boy, wait.
Oh, yeah,
I can explain. Girl,
this thing.
Don't bother. I hate you and never want to see you again. Cute 2 hours.
Hey! I will have you know that the romances I wrote in my books do not have any of this bullshit. Not one bit of it. I like to think that my characters actually talk like real fucking people in my books. I'm actually quite proud of that. Yeah. I'm not going to expound further. We've already been through this earlier in the video. Laws do not apply to me.
Romantic comedy hijinks. The real situation. Girl walks in on boyfriend hugging another girl. Girl, I can't believe you cheat on me. I hate you. Boy, this is my sister. Girl, oh, god, sorry. Cue credits. I have shouted just say actual words to each other at so many movies. It's
Use
not
your
just
words.
dumb romantic dramas comedies. It seems like idiotic and easily addressed miscommunication is a major plot driver for a lot of different kinds of movies. All the incorrect, blatantly incorrect physics. Drowning revivals. Okay.
Blatantly incorrect physics in movies just equals fun. That's all I'm gonna say. Blatantly incorrect physics in movies equals fun.
Victim is pulled, blue, from the water. Couple of chest compressions. Hero through gritted teeth says don't you die on me goddammit. Small arc of water shoots from the mouth of the victim as they cough twice and immediately regain consciousness.
Does not happen.
Sit up and ask what happened. All
Does not happen.
It's not the chest compressions that do it. It's the unconscious, possibly dead person hearing don't you die on me. Damn it. That really brings them back to life. Medical fact. Like how Babe Ruth cured a kid's cancer just by smiling at him. Secondary drowning is a
like
thing.
A meme?
You can't just go on with your day. I don't think he knows about second drowning. Pip. Firing guns in enclosed space is not deafening anyone.
Here we go. Here we
I always
go.
think of the tank scene from early Walking Dead days when I see this now. That's like the one
Yep.
semi-accurate portrayal I've ever seen. Or when they shoot at extremely close range but the gun gets knocked away last second by the hero so the shot just grazes their ear. Like, you are now deaf in that ear at least temporarily, dude.
Yep.
I've not seen.
They kind of sort of did something like this, right? In one movie, it was called Copland. Where Stallone plays a sheriff in a town that, a good chunk of the population are cops from the nearby city and cricket cops. And Stallone gets into a fight with a bunch of them towards the end of the movie. It's a big plot point thing. He's already like deaf in 1 year. And one of the cops, I think it was, what's his name? Something Patrick. He was the T-1000. What's his name? Robert Patrick. Robert Patrick is the bad guy. And he takes his firearm and shoots his firearm right next to Stallone's good ear. And it physically hurts Stallone and makes him go at least temporarily deaf in that ear. Like, that's one scene where they got it right. Where shooting a gun by someone's ear, you're fucked. That fucking hurts and you're going deaf. And yeah, all of the indoor shooting things, like the fucking giant, massive gunfights. Arnold. What? No, it wasn't Arnold. It was Stallone. That was a Stallone movie. Yeah, all those like massive gunfights that happen indoors. Yeah, you're not hearing a fucking thing. All you're hearing is Yes, I said T-1000. Arnold was the T-800 Robo-Spartan. The T-1000 was Robert Patrick. Arnold's Terminator was the T-800. Don't try and play me, gamer. I don't like Terminator lore.
Much of this show, but I read a post once that made me laugh about how the zombies seem to make so much noise but are able to sneak up on the protags, and someone theorized it was because they had been firing weapons for so long without hearing protection that they were actually always screaming at each other and they are practically deaf, but because we're seeing it from their POV it seems like they are just talking. So when they think they're
Interesting
talking quietly,
idea.
sneaking through the woods or whatever, they're actually yelling at one another, and that's why they continuously get surprised by things that are constantly making noise. At least Archer got this right.
Yes.
And Black Hawk Down.
Oh.
Tell
Oh. Yeah, you guys mentioning Black Hawk Down. Yep.
that a Mitinitus. Morp. In the movie Snatch, one group of characters gets some replica guns. UK, so it's not easy to get real ones. And says he loaded them with some extra loud blanks to be especially intimidating. Replicas but still fire blanks? I don't know. That's what was in the movie. One of his buddies questions the effectiveness, so to demonstrate he fires one off in the car they're all in.
God.
It blows the side windows out and deafens everyone inside who
What?
then yell at him. Zoom in on that. Can you make it clearer?
Oh,
Sure.
it's enhance.
No problem. 2
Enhance.
NPC CTV screen grab. Enhance. Just print
Yep.
the goddamn picture. When they take a drink out of an obviously empty cup and don't even bother pretending to swallow the drink. Is it so
Yeah,
hard
yep,
to just
yep.
have some water in the cup?
Okay. I am gonna do a gimme on this one with the drinking, because if they have to do multiple takes, can you imagine how often these actors would have to stop the scene to go take a piss if they had to do like multiple takes and they're drinking in the scene? Yeah, I mean, you can drink. I think it's more not so much the drinking noises. It's more of the issue of like these people would have to go piss so often if they're constantly drinking. If they're doing a take like if they have to do like 15-20 takes of a scene where they're drinking, after 5 takes they'd be like, okay, hang on, we need a few minutes while I go to the bathroom. They don't have time to do that.
Or when they set down a cup and you can hear that the cup is empty. That always bugs me at movie theaters when they are showing the Coke ads. The person gets a huge Coke and takes a drink and it sounds like it's empty. I always want them to turn around and ask the concession person to actually fill the cup this time. Full cup of hot coffee, yet they are talking with their hands as if they're not holding anything at all. That must take some courage and finesse to accomplish that feat. In action movies, the hero, often alone, faces an army of elite trained veterans armed to the teeth, but they can't seem to know how to shoot, take cover, use tactics or fight. And why are they taking turns to get their ass kicked? Just stomp them off the
God. This is one that has been addressed a lot in modern cinema. The trope was, especially in old martial arts movies back in the 80s and 90s, that one got one at a time. One at a time. Every time there's like a hand-to-hand fight, one at a time. That was a big trope. I don't think it happens as often, Zeb. I think they've addressed this better now in modern fighting, where they will have, with the fight choreography, they will have multiple people coming in simultaneously, and the hero has to contend with multiple attackers simultaneously. It is still done. I'm not saying it's not, it hasn't gone the way the dodo. It is better now. Probably by leaps and bounds. It still happens, but it is better. Yeah, the Batman fight in Batman v Superman. There was one. I think it was Hitman. They had like it was a full room of black belts, and he like fought them all like simultaneously, and he actually, it was really good. Who was it? What's his name? Donnie Yen. When Donnie Yen was fighting I don't know, it was 7 or 8 black belts simultaneously, and the choreography was great. He really did a good job of managing the crowd and fighting them all of them simultaneously. It was really good.
Steven Seagal movies are the worst at this.
Seagal, yes.
Seagal will fight a whole room of bad guys who attack one at a time after announcing their presence. If all
from a chair. Let's not forget that. Steven Seagal, in his latter movies, would literally fight sitting down. He would literally fight guys sitting in a chair. He was such a lazy piece of shit, he would not even stand up from a chair to fight in his latter movies.
8 of them just went in at once. They'd easily
don't
murder
even
him.
start
This
that,
is why
Revan.
people like Die Hard. Sure, McClane kills a whole team of bad guys by himself, but he'd do it by outsmarting them, taking them one at a time.
Yeah.
Every time he is outnumbered, he flee and barely make it out, and not without getting seriously hurt. And his injuries don't magically disappear. What a shame of a downward spiral of sequels that was. The first 3 were
okay, hang on.
pretty smart, fun, and had good action. The
Okay,
fourth,
good.
while not the worst thing I've ever seen, turns John McClane into Invincible Hero Man. The 5th one is just a massive piece of I love the John.
I don't think the 4th turned him into an invincible hero. It was, but the fourth movie was Live Free or Die Hard. He wasn't invincible. He still kind of got his ass kicked and he had to fight smartly. But the one part at the end where Timothy Oliphant, that's where I was going, Revan. Yeah, where Timothy Oliphant has him, and he's got a gun pressed against a wound in the shoulder, and McClane basically grabs the gun and shoots Timothy Oliphant's character through his fucking shoulder. Yeah, that went a little bit above and beyond, but overall, he still got his ass kind of kicked throughout the movie. He still had injuries. But yeah, the first couple movies, they showcase the injuries a lot better. The 4th one was they stopped doing that a little bit. And the 5th one, I didn't even see the 5th one. I did not even bother. And Dragon, thank you for the 5 gifted.
John Wick movies, but damn, the bad guys love to jump out of cover at convenient moments.
Yeah.
Bother me the most about the John Wick movie is when all the bad guys with guns runs up to John to get killed. You have a gun. It will be effective at a distance of more than 5 feet. The phone rings and the actor picks up the handset, listens for 2 seconds. Oh really? 1 second later, when 1 second later, I'll be right there. Hangs up without saying goodbye. The actor turns around and relays a 30 seconds of details that he just learned in only 4 seconds. The home
Yep.
screen on the phone also being visible and clearly not an A-call.
Yes!
When an actor
We've
clearly
seen
has
that.
no idea how to play the instrument they are holding, they don't have to be an
Oh,
expert.
God.
But Christ, someone show them where their fingers are supposed to go. Or stop focusing the shot on their fingers. Flipped very well in School of Rock, where Jack Black is an accomplished musician, and the kids in the band really did play their instruments, sang. They've done
really?
live performances together. Pretty rad.
No
Also
kid-
with
wow, that's awesome.
Miles Teller plays the shout of those drums. Drum line, not so much. But Nick Cannon did a good job of faking it. Not like the OP describes at all. When someone is driving and they look away from the road by looking at the person in the passenger seat for a prolonged amount of time. Or when they're constantly turning the wheel and the car doesn't move. Things like that bother me too much.
Yeah, the typical thing where someone is behind the wheel of the car and they're constantly going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. It's like, dude, that car should be rocking so much you're spitting out. Driving in movies, especially, particularly like green screen driving. Oh my god, it's so bad. Yeah, like, and the driving where you're supposed to be driving and you're doing this. And you're sitting doing this for like 15, 20 seconds or more, and you're supposed to be driving, and you're doing this, and you're not looking where the fuck you're going. Resident, don't do that. Don't do that. It is unsafe. Eyes on the road, gamer.
Much lol. When someone is driving and they look away from the road by looking at the person in the passenger seat for a prolonged amount of time. I've seen people do this in real life and it is terrifying. 3 times now I've seen actors doing this, followed by the car getting into a horrific accident. Usually getting T-boned so we see the second car coming. And now I always expect it to happen when they spend more than 2 seconds with their eyes off the road. Was watching a film last night and the main character took his eyes off the road and stared at the passenger for a good 10 seconds. Was definitely expecting a crash but nothing lol.
There's one movie that actually kinda played on this. One movie played on this specifically with these reasons in mind. Yeah, no, actually, Pink, I'm not actually gonna make a Paul Walker joke. He did it in Fast and Furious 2, and they actually, like, played with it. He was driving really fast, looking at the girl that was in the passenger seat, kept it straight, and then when, what's his name, pulled up next to him, he said, he, you know, actually called that out and said, he did that looking at you while he was driving shit, didn't he? Like, they actually called it out. Yeah, they said like he did the thing where he was looking at you, where he was looking at you instead of the road, didn't he? Like they actually like took this trope and they played with it a little bit, and they did it kind of in a kind of a neat way. I mean, yeah, it's what, Fast Furious 2? Okay.
Parasite actually did this pretty well. There's a scene where the father's driving the rich guy and is doing just that, and I was getting anxious seeing him do that, and then the rich guy gets pissed and tells him to keep his eyes on the road. I like that in The Office it's filmed when they're actually driving a real car around. There are bloopers where they make a wrong turn and end up at a dead end or forget where a control is because it's the car used for the show and not their personal car they're used to driving.
Yeah. Well, that was good. That was good. Okay, okay, Leo, have a good night. Well, it didn't take us to the end of stream chat, but that was what, about an hour and a half? About an hour and a half. Kind of about a... That's why I wanted to jump into it early. Yes, Cortanus, it's in the background. No encore, Revan, no encore.